I plan on being here in a fashion that I'm comfortable. I don't, have to beat to nobody else's drum except for mine. I was my own worst enemy. There was no way in the world I should have put myself in that position, but I needed to see it though, if that makes sense. I needed to see that, me at 80% is not okay. And when I had to really come down to the realization of what my next move should be, it was clear as day. I need to get back to 100%.
All right, so that was Cam last week from a 15-minute video he posted to his YouTube account. Meanwhile, his backup, Kyle Allen, got a second straight win on the road yesterday against the Texans. The Panthers are now 2-0 since Kyle Allen has taken over. Ryan Clark back here with us. Max Kell looking at you. Should Cam be worried about his job?
Depends how you define his job. First of all, the answer is no, right? But Stephen A. has brought up a point. Matter of fact, Stephen A., why don't you start? I'll respond to your point.
Thank you very much. I do think in this particular case it's appropriate for me to respond because I've been on the record stating that I think it's possible Cam Newton might get benched. Now, please understand what I'm saying here. He's Cam. And we understand what Cam, the brand that is Cam Newton, and what he means to the Panthers franchise is all about. But what I'd like to remind everybody is that since that injury against the Pittsburgh Steelers, he has not been the same. And the argument that I've made, Ryan, and I've made to Max, is that if Kyle Allen comes in and they win games, okay, if you are Ron Rivera and the Carolina Panthers organization, it could be a very dangerous situation for you to go back to Cam because Cam has not looked impressive. We understand primarily it's due to he is, and his ability to move the chains with his feet, not just his arm, that made him great. Cam Newton, to me, has never been a great passer. They've got a chance with him, and that's not to say in any way on his best day that he's better than Cam Newton when Cam Newton is healthy. The problem is that, again, he's playing within himself. Maybe North Turner is calling a different game, but if they keep winning with Kyle Allen, I find it very difficult to believe that it's just an easy thing to do.
That's why
I wanted hand the reins back to Cam. That's where I'm at.
That's why I wanted you to start. The NFL works like this. I don't care who you are, and I always go back to Kurt Warner, who won his job due to injury, didn't let it go, and then lost his job. Don't forget, Kurt Warner was an MVP superstar, best player in the league, according to many, all that kind of stuff, and like poster child for the league. And gets hurt, and Mark Bulger, he's okay, went 8-0 with a very good team, and Kurt Warner never got his job back. But Kurt Warner was still intrinsically an excellent football player. Wound up with the Giants as a tackling dummy, so Eli Manning didn't have to take the hits, and he was still good. Wound up with Arizona and took them to a Super Bowl, had a chance to win that Super Bowl. So this is my point about Cam. Even in the event that something crazy happens, like the Panthers roll off 6, 7, 8 wins in a row in his absence, and then, Stephen A., your prediction comes true. They're like, look, man, we're winning. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Cam never gets his job back. Then it depends on how you define job to answer this question. Should he be worried about his job? Because this is how I define Cam's job. Starting quarterback in the NFL. Even if you want to say franchise quarterback, he'll be someone's franchise quarterback, whether it's the Panthers or someone else. But that's the point. It's different than if you have a guy who's like Joe Flacco, right? He's the Ravens guy. But, boy, if he's not the Ravens guy, I don't know if he's anyone's guy for long. That's not Cam. Cam is the Panthers guy, and if for some freak, the way the events unfold, he doesn't wind up being their guy anymore, he is good enough that he will be somebody's guy.
I think that's a good point, right? Cam will get an opportunity somewhere else if he's not the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. I believe we understand that. I also believe he's going to be the starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers this year at some point. And here is why I say that. Cam has been injured since the Pittsburgh Steelers game last year on Thursday night. He had the shoulder injury. Now you come into this year with the foot injury. And so Cam is saying he is going to get back to 100%. 100% Cam is much better than Kyle Allen at 100%. Even if this team is winning, you know that right now, as constructed, Kyle Allen cannot take you to a Super Bowl. Stephen A. mentioned yesterday having Deshaun Watson on the field after the game with Quincy Avery, his quarterback's coach. That was because Deshaun Watson played bad. That's because Will Fuller had Ross Cockrell beat for a touchdown, and he overthrew him. And then in the second half, DeAndre Hopkins had the Carolina Panthers beat on the exact same post route, and he overthrew him as well. That's because they slide the protection one way that leaves Eric Reed free off the backside. He steps up, and Vernon Butler forces a fumble. This is very much like we've seen with Nick Foles and the Philadelphia Eagles, that sometimes when you have an ultra-talented player, a transcendent player at the position, you coach differently. People around play differently. And so now understanding what this team is, and the same thing that the Philadelphia Eagles knew in Carson Wentz, that even though we play a certain way with Nick Foles, if we have a healthy Carson Wentz, our ceiling is higher. And the Carolina Panthers will understand that. Cam Newton can watch on the sidelines and see some different things go on. But when he is healthy and 100%, he's the quarterback of this team.
Couple of points. Number one, I'm still distracted by that bow tie. My apologies. So I didn't hear everything that you just had to say, but I do understand your point.
You know what? I thought you were professional enough to handle it.
I am.
Maybe you can't handle the drip. It's
maybe
different.
I can't. Maybe I can't. Maybe I can't, Ryan.
You know
I got to confess.
But hey, when your hairline where it's supposed to be, you can do things like this.
But let me say this. Number two, you keep forgetting you're the person that's talking to you right now is a brilliant brother. Why? Because I know I'm not. I listen to those who are. I learned from them, and I move forward. I watched you last night on Sports, and I heard these very points that you elocuted. I knew that you were going to make them, Ryan Clark, but I also know this. I also watch you on NFL Live. I also listen to you when you're on this show. I also listen to you when you show up on my radio show or somebody else's radio show. And one of the things that I've noticed about you, Ryan Clark, is that you repeatedly point out how, in the National Football League, it's about a win-now league. And one of the things you highlight is the fact that Kyle Allen, forget the fact that he doesn't measure up to Cam if Cam is 100%. If they're flowing, you're absolutely right. Cam Newton will come back and get his job, but will he keep it if he's subpar in any way? After the team is over. Hold on, Max. Because I'm coming to you, Max. Because what I'm saying, I'm coming to y'all like this.
Okay.
This is what I'm coming to y'all with. Cam Newton, Kyle Allen goes. They got Jacksonville next, Tampa, San Francisco, the last two being road games. If they win 3 straight, and then all of a sudden it's a 5-game winning streak, Cam might come back. But if he goes back to complete 56% of his passes, what are they going to do
Hold
then?
on, right there.
That's the question.
Right there.
That's where I want to go.
When Norv Turner got there, Cam started becoming more of the quarterback that you want to see, Stephen.
I agree.
So unless you think, and this is a former MVP, number 1 player in football, got his team within spitting distance of winning a Super Bowl, right?
4 years ago.
Injuries, that many of the rookie passing records that have had to be broken were Cam Newton's record. Cam Newton was the guy that came into this league and started to where we started to recognize rookies that can be Pro Bowlers, rookies that can be franchise quarterbacks right away. We can't forget, and that was about his passing. That was about his connection with Steve Smith, who was a franchise wide receiver and a number 1 wide receiver at the time.
Which they have in that sense.
And so having Cam Newton back into this offense, if he's healthy and he looks the way he looked at the beginning of the season last year before starting to suffer these injuries, you again realize how different this guy is. And I don't disagree with you, Stephen A. Like, if we can all change arguments and debates to win them, if this has now become something about if Cam Newton doesn't play well as compared to what Kyle Allen has been doing and his team is not winning, can he lose his job going forward? Yes. Right. That's different. But as far as when he's healthy, he's the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers.
Molly, I just want to close this segment by saying, you know, I mean, far be it from me because I'm certainly not in Cam Newton's class by any stretch of the imagination, Max and Molly. But, you know, when I had that shoulder injury, because, I mean, when I still got the damn shoulder injury. Yeah. But, you know, I recall Ryan Clark saying to me, when you get older, it doesn't matter when you recover. You're older, and as a result, you can't do the things that you used to do when you were younger. So what I'm saying to you is this. If Cam Newton, when he was a rookie, this is 9 years later, after all of that punishment he absorbed, who's to say even though he gets back to 100%, that it won't be quick before he's not 100% because he can't take what he used to take? I'm just saying.
All I know is this.
Brought in old age. He brought in age and attrition. I'm not trying to sit up there and say I'm some professional athlete. Ryan Clark brought in age and attrition and said you ain't what you used to be, no matter if you're 100%. That's what Ryan Clark told me.
Ryan Clark also brought the headphones from first class on American Airlines with him around his neck. I figured out what those are finally.
My goodness. Cam's also been sacked almost more than 3 times of any other quarterback. 0-8 in his last 8 starts, sacked 23 times.
Molly
Ryan,
said, you owed,
we'll see you on NFL Live. No, I'm still.
That's what Ryan Clark said. You owed, you owe. No matter how good
chicken. I don't know about you all. Still plenty more to come in first day, including Stephen A's critique of Danny Dimes. Famous Jameis lighting up the Coliseum, and pressure on Mike Tomlin. Do not go anywhere.
Get excited, football fans, because the NFL season is in full swing.
Can you believe all these storylines from around the league?
Which teams make the best case to take home the Lombardi Trophy?
Who will rise and who will ultimately fall?
We was catching him, unlike Aguilar.
We have every snap, pass, and run covered for you with the best voices on television.
Stephen A., you were Jason?
So for all the best NFL debate, don't miss First Take every weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Here's a good Hollywood